I would suggest to start the second day. If you are ready, I am ready. Okay, so good morning, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, friends. Thank you very much for joining the second day of this interregional dialogue today between Europe and Central Asia and Latin America and the Caribbean. My name is Anna Korzensky. I am the coordinator of the family farming team here in Rome. So we are today on the second day of this exchange. So we have one full day passed. One full day behind us, a day with full of discussion and full of experiences. So what we have done yesterday, let's look a little bit that. So in the first day, we have started to understand what is family farming in this crazily, rapidly changing world that we are living at. No? Who are the family farmers? What are those challenges that they are facing, and what are the solutions? No? Always we are focusing on the solutions. What solutions they bring for us every day. So we started that from a global scale, then we zoomed into the reality of Europe and Central Asia, and then we also looked at the realities of Latin America. And then we continued to understand country realities as well, know how family farmers are coping with the different challenges, but then also what public policies are offered them to support them. No? We have listened to experiences from Kyrgyzstan, Croatia, Georgia. We have heard from Italy, North Macedonia, and Kosovo from the region of REU, of Europe and Central Asia. And then from the other side, from the Latin American aspect, we have heard experiences from Mercosur REAF, from Uruguay, we learned from Brazil, and we also heard from the World Rural Forum different strategies that the network is applying at a global scale. So it has been, we have started with a very interesting and very rich exchanges, and I must tell you that I learned a lot of things from you. So yes, this was an overview, but I would like to invite you to share with me or share with the others what was an aspect that you found very interesting, that you learned, that you have never thought about, or something that you will now bring home and would like to suggest in your country to do in another way. This is one question. Another question is if there is something else that remained in you yesterday that you would like to share still, this is the space now. So if there is any comment that you didn't do yesterday and you couldn't sleep because of that, this is the time for that. So colleagues, if there is any comment, I'm happy to pass the microphone to you.
On. Well, good morning, everyone. Well, I just wanted to mention 2 points that I really liked from yesterday to hear the deputy from Croatia. Like she shared a little bit of the plans they are doing, the project, and I really love what you're doing and what they are planning to do in cooperation with the European Union. And something that I found it really interesting from Latin America, it's all the discussion about the family farming registering, which it was something really interesting, and I found myself really into that it's really a problem, not just there, but in many places on the world. So just, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or thoughts to share?
Thank you. What I found interesting was integration of the importance of integrating indigenous knowledge into the extension services that the states provide to farmers and family farmers particularly. But what I find challenging is how to do it and how is this a good idea if it's implementable, and how it could be done to properly address the this issue and this topic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I think two main takeaways from the answers. One, this discussion about the intergenerational dialogue. We used to talk, and this is important, to talk about a lot about youth, no? But we need also to think about what we can, how are the many main tools, mechanisms to promote this intergenerational, as Lautaro said yesterday. I think this is one point. Second one, this perspective, it's quite new in the discussion. It's not a very common in Latin America, this idea of family farming as a form of the contribution to the national security, no? In the presentation of Mariana yesterday. This is not very common in our discussion in Latin America, but it's an important perspective to take in account, maybe.
Thank you. Any other thoughts or ideas? Well, already these contributions have pointed out the diversity of issues that popped up yesterday, no? that we have been discussing. And just to reflect on one of the points, no, it's an interesting path that we have started to walk on this year. No, we have identified these needs for exchange, and then indeed we started the exchange on, okay, what can be improved? Okay, okay, now I need to improve my extension service. The next step probably in this path to understand how, no, the how. So now we are arriving to a very solid understanding of the what to improve probably, and then I think it would be very interesting to continue on the how to do it. No, how is exactly how the policy should be then reviewed, or a new policy should be done for the improved extension service that indeed considers the traditional knowledge or the indigenous knowledge. So I hope we continue this walk all together, hand in hand, just to use this FAO terminology. And the last thing that I was asked to do is just to walk you through of today's program. So this will be the second day of this exchange. And we will start this with a thematic table. We will have today 3 thematic tables. The first one will focus on innovation and digital technologies. Then we go for a coffee break. That is a very important item to mention always. And then 2 other ones. After the coffee, there will be the focus on the collective action and the importance of farmer organizations and rural institutions. Then we go for lunch. After the lunch, we have another thematic table on the generational renewal. So the point that Luis was mentioning, I think we will have the chance to further explore. And finally, we will close these 2 days with a more intense working group discussion. With the aim to identify priorities and the innovations which are necessary in the region of Reu. So without further ado, I would like to invite the moderator of the first thematic table, Aida. Please, over to you. I wish you all a good exchange for today.
Thank you very much. So good morning, dear participants, dear panelists of today's first session on innovation and digital technologies for family farming. And I'd like to invite the panelists to the stage to join me to start the session. And then we may perhaps proceed to it. As I mentioned, dear participants, today we will be discussing about the innovations and digital technologies within the scope of this interregional dialogue. Just to briefly introduce myself, my name is Aidai, and I am the Digital Agriculture Specialist at FAO's Regional Office for Europe and Central Asia, and I have the honor of moderating today's session. So we are gathered here today to reflect on a key question. How can digital technologies support family farmers to increase productivity, enhance resilience, and improve livelihoods? And how can various actors support this? Family farmers and smallholders form the backbone of our food systems. They produce the majority of the world's food. But not only that, cultural functions and social functions, environmental functions, those are the roles that they are fulfilling, and they serve as the custodians of our biodiversity, preserving landscape, maintaining community and cultural heritage. Yet they face multiple challenges, such as the climate change, limited access to markets, to finance, to services, and much more. And digital agriculture technologies have the potential to ease many of the persistent challenges that family farmers face today by enabling access to essential knowledge and advisory, access to markets and finance, by increasing productivity and decreasing costs, enhancing environmental sustainability and resilience. And at the same time, we recognize that not all farmers can fully benefit from digital technologies due to barriers such as gaps in infrastructure, digital literacy, affordability of digital technologies, accessibility, etc. Now, through our discussion today, we will explore these opportunities and challenges together. We aim to discover how digital tools can support family farmers in their daily work, and to learn from concrete experiences and good practices at household, regional, national, and international level. And we will discuss how these lessons learned can inform practical solutions and practical approaches for supporting farmers' adoption of digital technologies and ensure that they are inclusive, sustainable, and accessible. So I'm pleased to introduce our distinguished panelists today that will bring valuable perspectives from farming communities, government, civil society, and development organizations from Europe and Central Asia region and Latin America and Caribbean region. So Mr. Ayvazyan Vrur, the head of Khatik Cooperative from Armenia, Mr. Luis Beduski, Senior Policy Officer at FAO's Regional Office in Latin America and Caribbean, Mr. Viorel Botnaru, Project Director at the National Association for Rural Development, AXA, in Moldova, and Ms. Venera Cerchini, Secretary General at the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Rural Development of Kosovo. Now, with this, let us begin the first round of discussion by exploring the role of digital technologies for family farming, experiences from the ground and good practices, and I'd like to start from Viorel. Viorel, from your experience in Moldova, in supporting farmers in Moldova, what is the relevance of digital technologies for family farmers there? How can digital technologies be applied in their daily practices? And how AXA is supporting farmers in adopting these technologies?
Thank you very much for your question, Aidai. And first of all, I would like to thank everyone for and FAO for offering the opportunity to be part of this platform, to share our experience and to, most importantly, learn from other experiences in other regions. Regarding your question, Aidai, in Moldova, the government has a very strong agenda for building a digital society. So this being a priority for the government, agriculture is also affected by this as one of the main sectors of the Moldovan economy. So, and civil society organizations in all this process play a very important role to act as a bridge between the farming communities and the government bodies in order to better implement and quicker and faster adopt the digital infrastructure and digital technologies that the government is building for the agricultural sector. And in this regard, I could offer very recent examples of our organization being involved in such projects. And I will start with the already successfully finished National Vine and Wine Registry that was elaborated and completed with all the grape growers and wine producers in Moldova. A very modern, very important traceability tool for the wine sector. A lot of you have heard that the wine sector in Moldova is growing quite fast, and it's becoming one of the most important sectors of Moldovan economy. So and in practical terms, for small farms or family farms that quite a lot of them act as grape growers, this information system or this registry allows them to ensure the traceability of their grapes they produce and have a better relationship in the value chain to sell their grapes to the wineries. So, and at the beginning, it was, they were quite hesitant to do that, but AXA acted in implementing this project also in through extensive communication campaigns and success stories to explain to farmers in more practical terms what are the benefits. So they started to register, the threshold of registration is from 0.15 hectares of vineyards, so quite small areas. And today we can say proudly that the system is functioning, is quite updated quite frequently, and every season a lot of grape growers while in the back in time they did not know what to do with their grapes. Nowadays they have a pre-contract with the wineries and they sell their grapes, and the wineries can access the registry and see where these grapes come from, what is the terroir, the varieties, the age of the vineyard, etc., etc. So that's one practical example of how family farms benefit from the digitalization of agriculture, and also that at the beginning was hard, and then after that, when they learned about the benefits, all of them basically wanted to be part of this registry and register. The second more recent example is piloting of the National Farm Registry that AXA also implemented with the support of the Japanese government as a first element of AJAX system that is part of the National Agricultural Development Strategy of Moldova, and is also part of the economic plan growth that is supported by the EU, the 1.9 billion euros that was announced at the beginning of this year. This piloting that AXA has implemented also started in 10 regions, 10 piloting regions, and also included all of the farmers, whether they are registered, large, medium, small, or even the ones that are not yet registered. It also started with explaining to the farmers what the benefits are, because this farmer registry would later be connected with the LP system, with the GSA application, with AMS, which are elements of the AJAX. But basically, this AJAX will serve as a very important digital tool for a paying agency in Moldova that will be able to, through interoperability of parts of this AJAX, to connect to the animal registry, to the phytosanitary products registry, to agricultural equipment registry that are already functional in Moldova, and thus avoid this bureaucratic barrier for farmers when applying for subsidies. It will ease the process of submitting applications to the paying agency. Moldova is planning next year to adopt the area-based payments, and also in the process of European integration, the Moldovan government is expecting additional funds for integration from the EU. So this will serve as a very comprehensive tool for a paying agency to be able to fairly and transparent distribute the subsidies for the agricultural sector. And AXA, of course, implemented this pilot. The government currently is in the process of identification of potential partners for scaling up this farm registry to the country level, and then piloting the land parceling identification system, which is the second important element of IX. Thank you.
Thank you, Viorel. It was very interesting to learn about how Moldova is moving forward with this, with the digitalization of agenda of the agri-food systems. Very interesting to learn about the wine register and how AXA's role of supporting it. And very interesting to learn that actually Moldova is at the moment supporting, rather undergoing the development of farm register and AXA's support of it, and how family farmers are engaged to it. So thank you. Now, building on this, I was curious to understand from Vlur, perhaps as a family farmer and a head of agricultural cooperative, could you share if you use any digital technologies? And if so, how do they support you as a family farmer in your operations? And what barriers still prevent you and fellow farmers from fully benefiting from them?
Thank you, Adai. Thank you for this invitation. I'm happy for being here. Agriculture is a pleased but challenging field, and this area, innovations and digital solutions can sometimes feel something magical. There are many challenges, but some of them already has solutions. For example, in Hati Cooperative, we are used to make decisions by meetings, but it isn't works out. We are 5 people, and it is very difficult to find a day that works for everyone. And often our meetings was delayed, and the work suffers. So we decided to use Telegram chat and make decisions by poll section. Now we post a question and make decision easily. Another example, my family has also a cow farm, and our cows are in the mountains 6 months of the year. And often they get lost. And if they get lost in a fog, we sometimes get lost hope to find them. And 2 months ago, I have met with Hoviv.am website team, and I want to mention that Hoviv is supported startup team. And a week after, we attached special collars for cows. It is a great solution for us. Now we can see the location of cows and see their movement throughout the day. Also, we entered all the information about our cows, all the data into that app of website, and it is no need to keep dozens of recording books and so on. And sometimes the website gives us reminders to do that or this. Another example is that since its creation, Hatik Agriculture Cooperative manages finance by Agba Digital app of Agba Bank in Armenia. Before we had this tool, we need to keep many accounting books to write who give us money for what, how, and who give we money, how much, when, for what. And we need to go to bank every time. Now it is no need to go to bank to keep thousands of books and notebooks. Of course, there are many challenges, but there is also tools available. The problem is that farmers don't know, others don't know about them, or they know about them, but it is difficult for them to use it. For example, high cost or language to use and so on. But there is no alternative to go forward to the path of innovation and digital solutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Vrur. It was quite interesting to learn about the variety of digital tools that are being used by the agricultural cooperative and your family members too, from the simple Telegram chat to cattle tracking and cattle management applications. And also was enlightening to learn about some barriers that farmers face, such as lack of awareness of digital tools, perhaps the barriers with language, or perhaps even the affordability of digital technologies. Now, let's bring in perhaps the government perspective. Venera, if I may turn to you, how can governments support family farmers in accessing and benefiting from digital technologies? Could you give us an example from Kosovo?
Good morning. Yes, the government can support family farming with digital technologies in several key ways. First of all, we have to have clear rules and strong strategies like a digital agricultural program, and also to guide farmers how to start. Second, we need to have to invest on internet and infrastructure to rural areas. Without internet, farmers do not know how to use digital technologies. Third, as training is crucial. Also with internet and tools, we have to learn farmers how can use apps, computers, smartphones for planning, selling, or managing their money. Government should work also with private companies to simplify all apps so farmers can use online all information about weather, about market, or about selling. I will give an example of Kosovo. So lately we have launched, supported by FAO, launched the Kosovo Digital Agriculture Program 2025-2028. The aim of this program is to make agriculture more smart and modern. This program has three main objectives. First of all is digital, more digital systems, so like farm register data. Second objective is about more services like e-agriculture. So we will put all information in this platform. Farmers can get all information like getting license, applying for subsidies and grants, have training, advisory services through this platform in one place. And the third one is training. We have to learn farmers how to use new technologies like sensors. This program also have a main issue to cooperate with ICT and agriculture. ICT currently in Kosovo is very strong, but agriculture needs more improvement. So if they cooperate or collaborate with each other, they can grow up our economy. So as a result, farmer will not lose time anymore and money, and also will get benefits very quickly. For example, instead of traveling to a city for one information or training or some applying for subsidies and grants, they will have them online from their villages. So digitalization is very important for family farming. Thank you.
Thank you, Venera. Very interesting to learn about that Kosovo specifically supports its farmers and their uptake of digital technologies with a targeted policy, such as the Kosovo's digital agriculture strategy. Now, we have heard about the use of digital technologies by family farmers in Europe and Central Asia, and let us bring in the perspective from Latin America and Caribbean region. Luis, if I may turn to you. So how are family farmers currently using the digital technologies in Latin America and Caribbean region? Could you highlight any examples where digital tools have had a considerable impact for family farmers?
Thanks, Aidai, for the question. Let me switch to Spanish to make easy share my ideas. Primeiro que todo, e é importante ter essa discussão sobre o mundo digital para a agricultura familiar, sobretudo porque em Latinoamérica, todavia, há desafio enorme de conectividade. Os últimos dados que temos são de que solo... O dado é que 64% da população rural não tem acesso à conexão, à conectividade. Então, a tecnologia digital, que, como nos exemplos anteriores, pode ser fator de câmbio positivo, há que cuidar para que não seja fator adicional que amplie a brecha, a desigualdade. Isso é importante de pô-lo em perspectiva antes de entrar em algumas discussões sobre a aplicação mais concreta. Não? Creio que acá, Luiz já nos dizia, não há uma bala de plata, não é magia, não há uma única solução. Então, a partir disso, creio que há duas tendências generais em Latinoamérica sobre a tecnologia em geral e o digital incluído. Unos são essas mais vinculados a apoiar a produção e a comercialização dos agricultores familiares. Então, estão avançando agricultura de precisão, monitoreio de condições climáticas, mapas digitais de suelos. Essas ferramentas se vão pondo à disposição dos agricultores. Mas há uma outra tendência que está pouquinho antes do digital, que creio que também há que pôr atenção, não? Que tem a ver com coisas que, a lo mejor, a agricultura mais grande já superou e que a agricultura familiar, todavia, está trabalhando. Por exemplo, a mecanização. Como podemos fazer com que tecnologias muito sencillas, simples, podem estar ao alcance dos agricultores familiares? Isso aumenta a produtividade do trabalho, diminui a penosidade do trabalho, aumenta o tempo que as mulheres, sobretudo, têm disponíveis. Então, pensar a tecnologia, incluída a tecnologia digital, tem que fazer-se com essa perspectiva de diminuir desigualdade e ampliar oportunidades. E não desde uma perspectiva netamente da tecnologia como fim em si mesmo. Creio que essa é uma primeira mensagem, tendência e discussão que está aparecendo. A outra, creio que acá há, mais allá da perspectiva do agricultor, também desde o Estado, como as políticas públicas podem estar melhor informadas para tomar decisão sobre o uso dos recursos públicos. Exemplo muito concreto, não? Zonificação agroclimática. É decir, se eu junto informação de suelo, planta e clima, isso me dá mapa de quando puedo ou não sembrar determinado cultivo em determinado território. Isso se está usando muito em Latinoamérica, sobretudo a partir da experiência do Brasil, que se está transferindo, discutindo, implementando por meio da cooperação Sul-Sul no corredor seco centro-americano. Isso me permite fazer um uso mais eficiente do recurso, diminuir perdas, aumentar a viabilidade econômica desses agricultores familiares, lo que por si é algo que parece muito sencillo, pero que tem que estar à disposição de todos. E por último, quizás para cerrar, que é uma tendência, lo discutimos um pouco ayer, é essa possibilidade que nos abre a digitalização com o tema da traçabilidade. É decir, em mercados que são cada vez mais exigentes de informação, não? Por exemplo, a nova regulação europeia sobre deforestação. Para a Latinoamérica, para poder exportar à Europa, essa necessidade de justificar ou demonstrar que não há deforestação por detrás, necessita que os produtos tenham algum tipo de marcador. Então, facilitar a conectividade digital, aumentar a capacidade de uso, me permitiria abrir ou manter em mercados mais inovadores. Então, isso me parece que são algumas das tendências que estamos vendo em Latinoamérica e no Caribe.
Thank you very much, Luis, for very important points about the importance of considering the digital technologies not as a end goal, but as a means for resilience, for increasing resilience of family farmers, improving their productivity and more. And I completely agree with you. And it was actually quite interesting to learn about the challenges in Latin America and Caribbean region of smallholder farmers being having challenges with internet connectivity. So it is quite important for us, as you mentioned, to consider that when we roll out certain support programs for them that are supported digitally. Now, thank you, dear panelists, for this first round of discussion. It was very interesting to learn about the trends of the use of digital technologies by family farmers in both regions. Now, for the second and final round of this discussion, let us explore what actions should be prioritized to ensure that digital technologies are they better respond to the needs of family farmers. If I could start with Vrur, from your perspective, Vrur, what support or changes would most help family farmers to scale their use of digital technologies?
Thank you, Aydai. Often, in order to change something, at first you need to change something here, and it is not so easy. Especially in rural areas. In Armenia, in our country, the success stories work very well when people see with their own eyes that someone from their village or their region has achieved something. Otherwise, when they see it on television or on social media, they think, it is like a movie, not real life. So, do you know how was our Hatik cooperative created? Few years, four years ago, FAO has taken different farmers from Armenia to a study visit to Austria and Slovenia. So we took the concept of Hatik from Austria, and we make it local. But what is really important is having courage to do something that haven't done everything in your village or in your region before. My co-founders and I are change makers in our community, and people believe us. So they are with us. It's very great thing that FAO has done for us, and I'm truly grateful. One more important thing that can help farmers is having tools they cannot get themselves. For example, weather information is the most important information for farmers to plan and manage the farm. But recent years, I don't know why, the weather forecast isn't so accurate. Today, new digital tools can solve this problem. You can have your own weather forecast, and it is not so expensive, about 5,000 euros. And you can have it and to plan and manage your farm better and more smarter. Farmers, we as a farmers have bought a combine 2 years ago, and we are thinking, what if there will be a weight that can weigh the crop right when it is uploading? There would be no need to fill it crop into truck, then take it to weight, then take it to farm again. This digital solution can solve the problem and can save a lot of transportation costs. And this kind of change can improve farmers' life. Thank you.
Thank you, Vrur. Was very good point on actually perhaps stakeholders that are engaged in the agri-food sector to actually support family farmers in making them aware of what digital technologies exist and letting them know what benefits they could offer. And was very interesting to learn of what let's say needs of the agricultural cooperative or other family farmers could be in Armenia. Now, Viorel, if we could go next to you, what would you consider a priority to ensure that digital agriculture tools are accessible and adapted to the needs of family farmers? And what should be the role of organizations like AXA in this process?
The priorities, in my opinion, should be the assurance by the government of the farming community that if we talk about this digital or information system like registries, that their data is protected, it is not going to be misused on one hand, and on the other hand, more important priority is rate of adoption of these technologies by the farm through the learning by or leading by example. So the more information campaign and the more mass knowledge transfer about the digital technologies in the country, the more this adoption curve will switch towards mass adoption, and more farmers will adopt these technologies. And this can only be done when you explain, or this can only happen when you explain the farmers the benefits, starting from use of digital and mobile signatures that is widely spread and used in Moldova now to replace the classical signatures of the farmer, to e-invoicing and all the digital registries that they have on farm for farm management. Another example is implementation quite successfully of this platform Feudal MD, which is a platform that many farmers, especially in orchards and vineyards, are using to for their farmland management system. So mass adoption can be done, it's a priority and can be done only through communication. The civil society organizations play a very important role because they are perceived by the farmers as a third non-interested party, so to say, with the sole purpose of transmitting the messages, the knowledge, and the practices from one target group to another, from the government to the farmers and vice versa, from the farmers to the government, if there is a feedback from the farming community. Thank you.
Thank you, Virel. Yes, quite interesting to learn about what on your perspective on what civil society organizations like AXA can do to support wider adoption of digital technologies among family farmers. Now, Venera, we have heard about Kosovo's digital agriculture strategy. I'm now curious to understand on your perspective what measures could ensure that digital technologies are sustainable and adapted to the needs of family farmers across Kosovo?
To ensure that digital technologies are sustainable and adapted to needs of family farming across Kosovo, we should take some measures. Firstly, we will must simplify and adapt it to local needs. Tools and platforms should be in local languages and also to access easily in mobile phones. Otherwise, farmers will not use at all these technologies. Second, we are trying to train all farmers, especially women and young farmers, continually and step by step. The digital tools should work with extension services. Farmers trust people, and so apps can help people, but not replacing them. Another important point is affordability. Sometimes for farmers it's not affordable to buy internet devices, so ministry should buy for them through subsidies these devices and to solve this problem. Also, the government, to sustain these apps, we should put this inside the government, and we have planned it because government can maintain, can adapt it, and also can monitor for too many years. Also we should use tools that help the environment, like apps for weather forecasts or early warning for pets. In Kosovo, these ideas are just visible. So with e-agriculture portal and digital village centers, we will include all information we'll gather for farmers for easy doing with farming. So in summary, if tools are simple, cheap and connected to real farmer needs, then they will be sustainable and bring real change for family farming. Thank you.
Thank you, Venera, for this comprehensive point on what we could do, as what governments could do to support family farmers' uptake of digital technologies, spanning from accessibility, affordability, the adaptability of digital technologies to the local needs. Now, if I could turn to Luis. Luis, looking ahead, how FAO, in your perspective, should support family farmers in adopting and scaling digital technologies to strengthen their resilience, productivity, livelihoods in Latin America and Caribbean region?
Thanks, Zaida. Mira, nosotros, como una organización, ¿no? Como FAO, como una organización de conocimiento, lo que estamos haciendo, y lo hicimos los últimos 2 años con el apoyo del Programa de Cooperación China-FAO, fue poner en marcha y probar una idea que lo estamos llamando de ecosistemas digitales territoriales, ¿no? Territorial Digital Ecosystems, que implica facilitar la puesta en marcha de 3 componentes. Uno, garantizar o acesso à conectividade. Isso implica equipos, implica a conexão, implica alguma forma de energia para ser, em las áreas rurais, a ser funcionar esses equipos. Não? 2, todo um componente vinculado a literacy, alfabetização digital, que as pessoas sepam utilizar lo que seria o terceiro componente, que são os usos e aplicações, não? Serviços digitais que passam a estar à disposição, e-bank, serviços de informação, de extensão, não? Comercialização. Essas três coisas conectadas, acesso à conectividade, capacidade para usar os usos dos aplicativos e o desenvolvimento de aplicativos, compõem uma forma de facilitar e disseminar, dar escala a esse uso. Te dou um exemplo concreto. A partir dessa posta em marcha em 12 países da região, isso me permite hoje ter uma proposta, incluso com números, saber quanto custa a instalação modular de ecossistemas digitais dessa natureza. Pensando em lo que vem agora em 3 semanas mais no Fórum de Inversões, uma das propostas que a FAO está fazendo é exatamente para o ecossistema amazônico, em fortalecimento da bioeconomia amazônica, permitindo a instalação desses ecossistemas territoriais, dando acesso, por exemplo, a sistemas de traçabilidade dos produtos da sociobiodiversidade amazônica. Assim que creemos que essa é uma forma de ir, outra vez, dialogando com o território, com os atores territoriais, pero poniendo à disposição ou facilitando que os governos e as empresas privadas possam chegar aos territórios, brindando esse tipo de soluções que são, à vez, tecnológicas, duras, estrito senso, pero também com usos mais inteligentes da própria tecnologia.
Thank you, Luis. It was actually very interesting to learn about the region's support to actually analyze the investment need to support certain e-government systems in the agri-food sector. And across the panel, we have heard today the importance of awareness campaigns, digital literacy skills as an important component to support the adoption of digital technologies by family farmers was also one of the recurring point. Now, we would like to open the floor to the audience for any questions, and we'd like to ask you to use microphones to pose your question.
Voy a hablar en español. Muchísimas gracias por el panel. Quisiera hacer una reflexión a partir de escuchar las intervenciones. Creo que un punto en Latinoamérica que hemos transitado a partir de múltiples reflexiones en la REAF, Mercosur, sobre ATER, digitalización, TICs, tecnología de información y comunicación, es, lo primero, tratar de no depender de las soluciones de moda. Tenemos un número de apps, hay una tentación a invertir en desarrollos que rápidamente son superados por otros, ¿no? Es una carrera sin límites, por eso la importancia de la consulta permanente con las comunidades y territorios. ¿Qué se necesita? ¿Cuál es la solución a lo que se busca? Lo segundo, estamos aquí reunidos hablando de políticas públicas. Nos parece que hay que diseñar, hay que pensar en políticas públicas que tengan continuidad más allá de los cambios tecnológicos. Esto permite un Estado que es más proactivo, permite políticas públicas de mediano y largo plazo. Porque si vamos a cambiar la política pública cada vez que hay un cambio disruptivo tecnológico, es muy complejo. Creo que como comunidades, como sociedades, tenemos que pensar en políticas de mediano plazo que no estén al vaivén de los cambios tecnológicos. Por eso creo que un punto destacado del colega es el tema de los datos y el resguardo de esos datos. Y tercero, creo que hay que fortalecer esto que decía Luis de las capacidades locales para evaluar ¿no? De manera conjunta, críticamente, las soluciones que nos ofrece estos ecosistemas tecnológicos locales que son muy importantes. Y sobre lo de Luis, creo que ahí hay un tema. Nosotros hemos hablado mucho de que sin infraestructura de datos comunitarios que se sostenga en el tiempo y que existe una apropiación de la comunidad sobre el uso y gestión de esos datos, es muy difícil, es muy complejo poder avanzar. Entonces, infraestructura local de datos es algo muy interesante. Hay una experiencia en Brasil desarrollada por el Movimiento Sin Tierra de Brasil en el país, junto con las universidades, que tiene temas de formación, capacitación, pero han creado sobre esos ecosistemas que dice Luis, mi primer negocio rural de la juventud. Y cómo los jóvenes con un canvas pueden rápidamente tener su negocio rural, trazabilidad, blockchain y con código libre. Y lo último, resalto el papel de las cooperativas en este esquema. Las cooperativas tienen no solo un rol, tienen responsabilidad de cómo ponerse a la altura de estos cambios tecnológicos e incorporar esto en sus asociados. Me parece que ese puede ser un gran nodo, ¿no? Un gran nodo entre el cooperativismo y el asociativismo en estos esquemas de comunidades digitalizadas a nivel de la región. Gracias.
Thank you very much for these very interesting comments. Yes, please.
Sim, falo em português. Considerando que uma parte largamente maioritária da agricultura familiar tem uma idade avançada, o processo de digitalização pode também provocar um choque geracional e uma falta de competitividade por parte dos agricultores com maiores dificuldades nesta área. Eu perguntava nos vossos países, nas vossas regiões, que formação é feita para esta camada maioritária dos agricultores familiares. Por outro lado, a digitalização não é só para ultrapassar dificuldades burocráticas ou para nos indicar a necessidade de rega ou nos prevenir de pragas. Hoje a agricultura já é feita por satélite, com máquinas robô, que as grandes empresas utilizam, aumentando assim o fosso, a diferença entre a produção mais pequena e essas grandes companhias. Portanto, também aqui a digitalização pode provocar uma quebra de competitividade das explorações da agricultura familiar, o que exige naturalmente políticas públicas e financiamento direcionado para as pequenas agriculturas. Eu perguntava que tipo de experiências é que há nesta área no financiamento.
Thank you very much for this very important question on the risks of digital gap. Anybody from the panel that would like to take this question?
Ok, dois comentários pouco nesse diálogo com os colegas. Partindo por lo último, eu creio que sim pode generar um choque generacional, pero creio que também, incluso as populações com mais idade, quando expostas a esse mundo digital, rapidamente lo agarram. Eu creio que há aí é um alerta que há que ter. O que vimos em terreno nos últimos tempos é que rapidamente logram manejar-se com aplicativos de compra e venda, de informação, alguns muito sencillos. Em verdade, creio que acá também não estamos falando, e aí dialogando com o Lautaro também, não estamos falando de grandes transformações, mas de algum tipo de acesso que permita aumentar essa competitividade, como dizias, não? Creio que há algumas aplicações muito sencillas também. Várias que estamos vendo, às vezes uno pensa a tecnologia e o digital como algo que é muito lejano à experiência. Hoje estamos vendo, em Brasil, por exemplo, estamos vendo trator de los anos 70, puedes poner hoje, assim, de sencillo, puedes embarcar tecnologia digital de satélite para que o trator funcione, haga a siembra solito. Isso está ao alcance hoje da agricultura familiar. Lo que não está são as políticas de financiamento para isso. Eu creio que país de nossa região que está impulsionando isso é Brasil, com política pública para diminuir a brecha digital. Chile está sendo o mesmo, com a ideia de chegar à última milha. E acá também há uma disputa também geopolítica de quais são os tipos de serviço. Vai ser com Starlink? Vai ser por cable? Vai ser com que tipo de tecnologia que você vai chegar às comunidades, não? Eu creio que acá há uma potência em lo digital que é subexplotada, pero que há que ter os cuidados que fomos conversando. Eu arriesgaria a dizer que há tema que é muito pouco discutido sobre o digital, que é a transição agroecológica. Eu creio que acá é como provocação a todos nós outros. A discussão de agroecologia e de transição agroecológica se está olvidando da discussão dura de tecnologia. Então, sobretudo em ecossistemas que vão ser mais demandantes de conhecimento tradicional, como falavas ayer, pero que tem que combinar-se com o conhecimento científico. Então, em lo digital, quizás seja espaço de encontro entre formas diferenciadas de aprender, de saber, de cuidar do mundo, não? Então, acá creio que aí, pero passa, como disse Lautaro, por política pública que permita ter horizonte de estabilidade e nessa discussão. Nossos cálculos hoje, com isso termina, assim, na instalação desses ecossistemas digitais, estamos falando de mais ou menos, não é, pensando em política pública, não é caro. Poner à disposição de uma comunidade com, não sei, chegar a 500 famílias em uma comunidade aislada não te custa mais que $300 mil. Não? Ou seja, isso é peanuts quando você discute de verdade a inclusão. Então, e com retorno econômico muito potente. Aumenta a produtividade, diminui a carga laboral, sobretudo para aquelas pessoas da família que historicamente são as que levam a doble ou triple carga, as mulheres especificamente. Então, acá há que trazer essa dimensão mais allá da tecnologia em si mesmo, não mirando-la dentro da dinâmica das famílias, dos territórios e da própria forma de atuação do Estado.
Thank you, Luis. We have a few more questions from the audience.
Thank you. I want to share something in relation to the presentation. I will share the experience that I have from North Macedonia and Western Balkan countries. Contrary to what was mentioned in Latin America, most of the people in the rural areas living in Balkan countries have a very good connection to internet, good internet coverage. So you can imagine that their smartphones are actually window to the global world. So most of our farmers consider Facebook as the most important social media, you know. Years before, they were going in the center of the village where they will have a shop and drink beer. After Corona, they go on Facebook and see pictures. Who has married, who has divorced, who has built a new house, who had a better crop yields this year. So in that sense, we must be very practical and look at these digital technologies as a tool that the farmers will use to increase their awareness, to increase their education, and their ultimate goal, to sell their products by the highest possible price with the greatest quality that will help them survive. That is the ultimate goal of every family farmer that I know. And in this respect, especially in the times of COVID, digitalization of market linkages became very important. In our experience, we had three short experience. I will not take a lot of time. First was that we established a platform for sales of agriculture products. In a matter of week, we had 250 family farmers that registered on the platform, and we enabled connection between them and the potential consumers. What they did to do is to register on the platform, provide photos of their products, and try to standardize themselves in what we required. What type of boxes, what type of packages, what type of products, short calibration that will help to reach the end consumers. Nowadays, this platform at the moment has 12,000 farmers registered only in North Macedonia and around 20,000 consumers. For our standards and for our country, that's a lot. And two other examples during the COVID time, why digitalization was important, was to provide technology which was not present at that moment in our country. As you recall, during the first months of the Russia-Ukraine war, we had an extreme increase of the prices of fertilizers, chemicals, and many other inputs in agriculture. In that period, it was impossible for our wheat producers in Macedonia to compete on the market. So we needed something to do for these farmers. What we at Federation do, we establish contact and cooperation with Argentina. Two important organizations, APRESIT and CAFMA, helped us to introduce no-tillage technology through internet, through digital platforms, so our farmers can produce for less money, the same quality and almost the same yield. And this cooperation now increased, and they have a great opportunity. The other case was to introduce one of the best technology that we have now, and that is for the rice producers in Macedonia. They were also coping for the technology for lining up their fields. In that same time, we reached JICA, the Japanese International Cooperation Agency. Through, again, digital knowledge and some grant support, we were able to support the farmers to line up their fields perfectly and to improve their production of rice. So my idea is, whenever farmers see that there is something that will bring them more money, sustainability of their life, and sustainability of their income, they're absolutely prone to go to any possible technology that will help them reach this. It's on us as a non-government organization, as a civil society, provide the information and to lobby and advocate to the institution to enable the legal framework and support measures to reach this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very interesting point. Yes, we have seen that in Western Balkans, in rural areas, the connectivity is above the 90%, and that drives the then adoption of digital agriculture technologies. Very interesting to learn about the examples that you brought from North Macedonia. Then we have another question from the audience.
Not the question, just the comment. A few speakers mentioned what does academia and scientific community is doing to help the farmers and to help the policy decision makers. So I would like just to draw your attention that the European Commission recognized the problem that there is a lot of room to be improved quality of data and to develop new indicators that can help local policymakers to design better policies, particularly when addressing particular issue at a very short period of time. So the academic community all over Europe was invited to propose the innovative solutions for data collections, and the another one to propose the new indicators to deal with particular issue. When saying that, probably the case the same is in your country, that everybody speaks about the rural tourism, for example, but in all statistics, including rich European Eurostat databases, there are only two indicators about the tourism: number of overnights, and another one is the number of employees in tourism. With those two, you can do not anything, particularly at the local level. So what the point is, there are currently two horizon projects. One is the granular, the another one is the rustic. My team works in the rustic, but we cooperate very well with the colleagues from the granular. We were selected to propose the innovative solutions. There are the website, and you can easily access to the the Rustic Data Viewer, you can find a lot of data at the lowest possible territorial level, meaning the village level, let's say the settlement level, or municipality level, Law 2 level for European countries, if you know what I mean. And where is the point? The data is collected through the satellite, so you can realize where is in your area bus stops, hospitals, schools, how much time the kids need to go to the primary school, secondary school, where are the banks, where are the other points of interest, whatever, with the and all that explained in good selected indicators. For example, we use the let's say web scraping, geodata scraping, meaning the collected data from TripAdvisor, Booking.com, national platforms, advertising, rural tourism, houses, accommodation facilities, restaurants, whatever. So there are so many data. Where is the tricky issue? Data privacy. And another advice for the colleagues, just for the policymakers, there are the censuses of agriculture. They are extremely expensive, we know. There are the standard set of indicators available for all your countries. That is what we know. We are often looking when preparing the FAO reports in your country statistics, but anyhow, just ask the statistical office to provide you micro data, then you will have the clear access, very rich, let's say, data about the local, about the farmers, their families, their farming practices, many. So the data already exists, but it is not available in standardized form. Just ask them and they will be happy to serve you. That gives the sense to their work. That's it.
Thank you very much. A very important point on the role of academia in this process. Do we have any other comments? Yes, please.
Thank you very much. I wanted to ask Rur from Armenia one question about, you mentioned that FAO supported you by organizing a study tour into Austria for your cooperative members, but did the government or FAO support financially your cooperative to adopt these digital technologies? And the second question is, the colleague already asked this question about the age gap, and Mr. Lewis also addressed this issue, but I wanted to ask you, as you are a member of a cooperative, we know that certain studies, and quite many studies, show that there is a free rider problem when not each member of a cooperative is willing to invest in long-term investments. And did you have such a problem, particularly for Georgia and for Armenia as well? Aging population and aging, the farmer age is quite a problem. And did you face such challenges with long-term investments in digital technologies? And thank you.
Thank you for the question. With your permission, I will answer it Russian. Конечно, эти проблемы и у нас в стране, но когда мы действуем, когда мы решаем что-нибудь новое принести в кооператив или наш район, мы думаем долгосрочно об этом. Вот год назад мы купили комбайн. Это не дешево для нас. Это целое количество. И раньше, чем мы будем делать шаг, мы долго думаем об этом, как это будет действовать на наши семьи, на наш кооператив и на наше дерево. и в страну тоже. То, что касается возраста, нас 5 в кооперативе, и 5 нас молодые, все молодые. Только один из нас старый, ему 50 лет, но он специалист по agriculture. Но, знаете, у нас нет таких проблем в кооперативе, так как у нас есть и молодые, и старые. Те семьи, у которых есть и младшие, они всегда помогают. Например, дед приносит внуку, говорит, смотри, что тут что-то говорит, как мне это делать? И внук помогает ему. Или если нет внука, то соседи иногда помогают друг другу. Это в Армении тоже работает. Вообще, иногда, если тебе это очень надо, ты будешь найти вариант, как это достичь. Но это если так, ты спрашиваешь, и еще вопрос, ты это делать будешь или нет? Спасибо.
Thank you very much. Then I think we have time for one more small question. Yes, please.
If I can have a question, just going back to the affordability of the technologies, I was wondering, like, the question is to all the speakers, is there any risk that with these new technologies, we are, like, because the technologies, some of them are so costly, is there any risk that we are risking to leave the poor ones behind? And in particular, I was very happy when Venera was mentioned that, as I understood, the government is trying to have technologies as a public good, so it would be the ministry who will managing, and so it would be freely available and accessible to everyone there in the country. And the question is what are the trends in other countries or in the Latin America region? Is there a risk that, you know, due to the different economic situation of family farmers, some will have better access to technologies and would advance further, while others, they wouldn't have these skills, they wouldn't have money to apply, to access the technology, to apply the technology, so that they would end up even in the worst situation because they wouldn't be able to compete with those who install the technology. Thanks.
Thank you for the question. Dear panelists, who would like to take this question?
Thank you, Victoria, for the question. I will give you the example of Moldova, of two different sides of affordability of the digital technologies. One is on the one hand, some technologies to be adopted are actually free of charge. For example, Moldovan government currently is issuing the new digital European standard identification ID, carte d'identité, and it comes together with the digital signature that in normal conditions would cost you money to go to apply, and you get this digital signature for you to further use it in your farm management. The government currently has 1 million ID cards issued free of charge for all population in all the country, all ages, of course, starting from 16 and up. So this is one example of free of charge digital tool that the government is promoting, and it's available for all income classes, including family farms and aging population, etc., etc. The other is the weather alerts systems that also the government is currently implementing based on the model from Romania, raw alerts. Moldova is going to implement the MD alert system, which will include weather adverse events, forecasts or messaging to everyone, but also the weather alerts for regional distribution. And take into account that in Moldova we have a good internet coverage, as the colleague mentioned. In the Western Balkans, Moldova is not an exception. Mobile coverage is actually 120%, so this allows basically everyone to have mobile internet access. So having all this in place, some technologies are actually free of charge. Of course, there are some digital tools. Banking applications are all free of charge. If you are a client of the bank, that's obvious. But if you are a private, for example, input provider, seller, usually what they do is in their selling strategy of input products or seeds, they would also try to accompany this sale with additional service provided as some sort of extension or a technical assistance for the farm as a package to sell. And usually they do that not on an individual basis, but kind of through cooperative or grouping the farmers by community or by crops of their interest. For example, for the vine growers, they would go in a village, organize a seminar, sell products for vineyard protection, and also install some application for management of the vineyard plantation during the same time of the seminar. So the farm becomes more, learns about this tool that they can use to manage their plantation in terms of integrated pest management or preventing appearance of the disease, etc., etc. So this is kind of the experience of Moldova in a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Viorel. Now, dear participants, thanks a lot for your active participation and for your important and stimulating questions and comments. And I'd like to thank our panelists for the valuable insights that they have brought to us today. It was very important for us to reflect on the role of digital tools for family farmers and to hear about the drivers and barriers to adoption of them across the Europe and Central Asia and Latin America and Caribbean region. Now, thanks a lot to all. We will see each other then on a coffee break, and we will be back here by 11:20. Thank you.
So good morning once again. I'm happy to welcome you to this session on collective action, where we will discuss the potential of farmers' collective action to support the development of family farming. For those who don't know me yet, I'm Victoria Evazian. I'm from the regional office of FAO, and I'm working on rural development, and I will be the host of this session. Together with our panelists, we will discuss the opportunities and benefits that the family farmers can have when we have well-functioning organizations and rural institutions in the context of agri-food systems. Collective action is in particular instrumental for improving access of family farmers to knowledge, technologies we discussed in the morning, to markets, to inputs, finance, and also enhancing their influence on policy making and decision making. Without further ado, let me welcome to the stage our esteemed panelists, Ms. Marika Kodua, who is a family farmer from Georgia and a member of the Georgian Farmers Association. She's continuing her family tradition of growing hazelnuts, and thanks to her degrees in business administration and agronomy, she is providing consulting and training to fellow hazelnut farmers. And she is supporting them on enhancing crop quality and yields. Next one is Tolos Bostonaev, who is a program coordinator at the Secretariat of the National Committee of Family Farming from Kyrgyzstan. He has an extensive experience in family farming with a strong focus on empowering women and youth. Tolos actively contributes to the regional and global farmer platforms, including AFA and World Rural Forum. Next one is Ms. Cristina Tinelli, who is a Director of International and EU Affairs at Confagricoltura, an Italian confederation of the agriculture, representing and supporting the interests of agriculture enterprises, farmers, and agribusinesses. Since 2023, she is a chairperson of the Rural Development Working Group of Copa-Cogeca, with an extensive experience working on the rural development on EU level. She also worked in the Italian Ministry of Agriculture before. And our last but not least guest is Matias Carambula, a subsecretary of the Ministry of Livestock, Agriculture and Fisheries from Uruguay. Throughout his career, he has dedicated his work to rural development and public policy, with a particular focus on strengthening family farming and reducing inequalities in rural areas. Thank you everyone. Well, our region is quite diverse, not only in terms of socioeconomic development, but especially when it comes to the development of rural institutions, different farmers' organizations and networks. We have countries in the West where there is a strong culture of collective action, agriculture cooperatives, networks, federations are quite developed, and I guess every farmer is a member of at least one such an institution. While in the rest of the region, we have mostly countries with the experience of the forced collectivization, and until today, farmers find it quite challenging to join collective action, given also some problems in the existing legislation and policies. And I'm happy that in the previous session, we also touched a lot on the roles of cooperatives and collective action. So let me start with Matias. We would like to learn about the experiences in Uruguay. What is the situation in terms of collaboration and cooperation among farmers, and what role these institutions play in improving position of family farmers and reducing inequalities?
Bueno, buen día. En primer lugar, es bueno hablar de que Uruguay tiene una larga tradición de organizaciones rurales, tanto organizaciones gremiales, sindicales, cooperativas. Una de las identidades de la acción colectiva y la organización, entonces, es una larga trayectoria en el tiempo, y a su vez la otra identidad es la diversidad de organizaciones, que me parece importante señalarlo cuando a veces se traslada o construye un relato de homogeneidad de los actores sociales del campo. Es importante ubicar la diversidad de actores que tienen diferentes perspectivas políticas, y de ahí también el plano reivindicativo, principalmente hacia el Estado o otros actores del sector agropecuario. Estamos empezando un gobierno hace 6 meses y es parte ya de esa tradición histórica del Uruguay que las organizaciones de productores le entregan a los gobiernos que asumen una plataforma reivindicativa. Es parte de la acción colectiva que tiene mucho tiempo en el Uruguay. Es esa plataforma de reivindicaciones y planteos con propuestas también hacia el gobierno, el Estado y la política pública. Una de las primeras, en la pregunta planteada, el aporte a la reducción de las desigualdades en el Uruguay. Hay un primer elemento bien importante, el aporte del sector productivo agropecuario del Uruguay. Ayer lo mencionaba, el 70% de las exportaciones del Uruguay y el ingreso de divisas vienen de la actividad agropecuaria. Ahí un poco, según el perfil o la perspectiva política e ideológica del gobierno, es como esas divisas ingresan en un sentido la distribución de la riqueza que genera el sector. Y ahí es donde hay un parte de campo de disputa de la acción colectiva de las organizaciones y el Estado, en qué tipo de política plantean un sentido distributivo de la riqueza hacia el resto de la sociedad. Ese es uno de los escenarios de disputa y aporte de las organizaciones del campo, es lo que generan en términos de valor, y a su vez un segundo elemento es la disputa en torno a la distribución de ese valor que ingresa al país. En este caso es un gobierno que tiene una fuerte presencia del Estado y un sentido de distribución de la riqueza y la renta que se traslada hacia el resto de la sociedad, como la educación, la salud, el trabajo. Un segundo elemento de las organizaciones que han logrado construir, y esto recientemente, organizaciones que nuclean a esa diversidad y heterogeneidad de organizaciones. En este caso y durante este periodo hay una organización que se llama Campo Unido, que ahí nuclea 6 organizaciones, las 6 organizaciones más representativas de los productores agropecuarios. Es una organización que incluye 2 gremiales que vienen del agronegocio, 2 gremiales que representan los sectores más tradicionales vinculados a la ganadería en el Uruguay, y 2 gremiales que incorporan la perspectiva de la producción familiar, como es la Comisión Nacional de Fomento Rural, que es una organización que representa los intereses de la producción familiar. Entonces ahí hay una experiencia bastante interesante del Uruguay. En el Campo Unido nuclean esa diversidad de organizaciones que plantean principalmente hacia el Estado, el gobierno y la política pública, una serie de reivindicaciones hacia la política pública y el Estado. En tercer lugar, las organizaciones del campo y particularmente de la producción familiar en el escenario político actual del Uruguay tienen un desafío y una necesidad que es la construcción de puentes con el resto de la sociedad, el mundo urbano, los trabajadores de la ciudad, el sector político mismo. Históricamente el Uruguay se ha construido una disputa y una tensión ideológica, política y sobre todo cultural entre el campo y la ciudad, el sector agropecuario y el sector de los trabajadores de la ciudad. Uno de los desafíos que tienen las organizaciones del campo y también el sistema político es justamente la construcción de puentes entre el campo y ciudad, las organizaciones gremiales de los productores con las organizaciones sindicales de los trabajadores. Ese es uno de los desafíos más importantes en el momento actual de la acción colectiva en las organizaciones rurales. Y el otro elemento en esto del momento actual de la política es justamente, y esto particularmente de las organizaciones de la producción familiar y las organizaciones sindicales de los asalariados rurales, es una disputa con la ruptura de la hegemonía y homogeneidad del campo. Ese es un relato construido por las gremiales más tradicionales de los sectores del agronegocio y del mundo ganadero. Es un desafío para las organizaciones de la producción familiar mostrar que el campo no es homogéneo, sino hay diversidad de intereses, situaciones, relaciones con el Estado y la política pública. En esa también búsqueda de la ruptura con la hegemonía de un discurso construido de las organizaciones más conservadoras del campo en Uruguay. Esa sería la primera intervención. Gracias.
Thank you very much. It was very interesting to see that the role of family farmers organizations bring space to people be represented in the food systems, and also the role of in terms of wealth distribution, and the role of the secondary organizations who serve as a bridge between the rural needs and the public policy processes. Thank you. Cristina, my next question is to you. You represent 2 very influential networks, the okay, I need to make it. Confagricoltura in Italy and Copacogeca at the European level. So my first question is if you could share, a few words about what Confagricoltura is. And looking back at your experience in these 2 organizations, I was wondering whether you can share any achievements in terms of supporting family farming that have only been possible thanks to these strong networks and collective action, both at the national and European level.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me here, for inviting Copa and Cogeca and Confagricoltura. If you find it extremely difficult to pronounce, you can imagine when we have to spell it, our email addresses anyway. Confagricoltura is the oldest Italian organization. We represent almost the 45% of the arable lands in Italy, and we cover all productions. So we are disseminated all along the Italian territory. We have local and regional headquarters where farmers go I can't say daily, but weekly, and we help them in dealing with all the administrative tasks that they have to take on board. So starting from the demand for the CAP premium to the invoices, the Italian administration is quite complicated, and we help them in defining also electronic invoices. So we are a point of reference for all the farmers, especially at the territorial level. Whenever they have any problem, they come to our headquarters, and we discuss with them, and we try to find a solution. Normally, these solutions are collective solutions. So when you have one problem, your neighbor has the same problem. So when you solve a problem of one farmer, you solve the problem of the entire sectorial production. Whereas Copa Cogeca is the umbrella organization that at European level represent farmers and COPs. We represent almost 22 million farmers and their families, and 20,000 cooperatives. So Copa Cogeca is vocal in defending the interest of farmers and their COPs at EU level. A collective approach is extremely important in Europe. Of course, you can imagine that a farmer cannot defend and cannot be vocal in bringing problems and try to find solutions. So it is extremely important to stay together, especially we in Copa Cogeca represent COPs, and COPs are, for us, the maximum example of how, and I guess everyone here has the same situation in their own country, how farmers together can be powerful on the market. So we think this collective approach addresses challenges in terms of production, in terms of economical terms, and also in terms of finding solutions on climate changing. At the same time, this collective approach can seize opportunities. So, for example, if I can take my example as a chair of the Rural Development Group in COPA and my role in Confagricoltura, our first objective is the lobbying activity. You asked me for a real example of what we are doing now. For us now in Europe, we had a big problem, and I guess all over the world, of prices. And defending the farmers' interest all along the food chain. So in Europe, in 2019, we had a directive called the Unfair Trade Practice Directive, and this directive helped us a lot in trying to protect the position of farmers in the bargaining process all along the food chain. So this directive defines which are, in general terms, these unfair trade practices. So we try to protect farmers in being paid on time, in respecting contracts, and every member state can implement this directive following its own internal organization. Now in the Parliament, we have been vocal to ask for a protection of the farmers all along the food chain via a modification of the CMO regulation. The CMO regulation is a Common Market Organization regulation, which is at the base of our CAP, the Common Agricultural Policy. And so we are discussing now at the European Parliament and the Council this new regulation that aims to strengthen the position of farmers all along the food chain. First of all, in obliging buyers to write contracts, to have written contracts with farmers, and those contracts should be should contain some elements that protect farmers. First of all, this contract should take into consideration, for example, the inflation. So if the inflation grows up, the prices should be adequately modified. And this is our approach in COPA and in Confagricoltura. So we need to protect our farmers and to help them to stay on the market in all the way. For example, we use collective bargain, collective approach also in insurances. We have in Italy, for example, consorzi di difesa. There are the COPs, second level COPs, that can they put together a number of farmers and they bargain with insurances to get a better price for the insurance premium. So we have many of these examples really to try to keep our farmers economically stable on the market so that they can live with their own work.
Thank you, Cristina, for sharing all these encouraging experiences. Indeed, like keeping farming profitable, I think is the key when we discuss the future of family farming, because at the end of the day, if it doesn't provide enough means for living, then everything else doesn't matter. My next question is to Marika. Marika, Georgia, you come from Georgia, and it's one of the ex-Soviet republics, and I already mentioned the troubled past in terms of collective action in all the post-Soviet republics. And although there are various organizations, networks, NGOs in Georgia which are working for and with farmers, we cannot speak of a well-developed and functioning institutional networks of farm support organizations. But you're a member of Farmers Association, and I'm interested in your experience and opinion. Considering the local context, what is the role that the Farmers Organization can play in Georgia in terms of supporting sustainability and the development of family farms?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the question. For me, at the farmers organizations are very essential because they are playing mediator roles between farmers, donor organizations, government, and other stakeholders, which is conducted in the value chain. Because as one farmer, it's very difficult to influence some policies and also to be charged in the policy-making process. But when you are the member of the strong farmers organizations, they can elect your voice in the high level. For example, Georgian Farmers Organization Association, they are 5,000 members, and they strongly advocated family farming, engagement of YAS, and so on. On the same time, it's not just providing, the advocating strongly, they are also giving some trainings, sessions to them and sharing some expertise especially to young farmers. At the beginning, when they started working in Georgia, when the Georgian Farmers Association established, one of the first steps what they done is to promote young farmers, to make them visible. Because in the government stage also, there was not idea from government side also that we have the young farmers who was working in the villages, and they are doing great thing. And for the farmer side, they make some kind of promotion that what they are doing, it's not the ashamed work, even it's a more fancy, and they promote it. And this was one of the beginning stage that a lot of Georgian farmers starting to engage in the farming, and they were willing to do such kind of activities. On the same side, the support of the farmers' organization is very important for family farming, because they need to highlight the importance of the family farming. And GFA is doing such kind of things, but not only this association is willing to do only this, because we need the support from different kind of organizations, such as donor organizations, and I can say the FAO Georgia are doing very good things in Georgia. For example, they have several ongoing projects to support youth engagement, to support the family farmer, and to support the rural communities. For example, they are making training in vegetable production, in hazelnut production, in dairy production, and after the training, they are making some co-founding projects to make some grant to these rural areas, and to improve the food safety, sustainability, and also to be more competitive, these family farmers in the market stage. But not only the locally are enough to be I mean, the local support is not enough. Also, we need the support from the regional and global level, and it's very important to this organization to be a member of the global organizations. And GFA is proud that they are member of the World Farmers Organization, and we are also proud that GFA is a member of a privileged partner of the Copa Cogeca. And I can say thank you for this. And this kind of partnerships support indirectly the farmers also, because they can share some international project and policies. They can exchange these policies and adapt in the local level. And on the same time, it can bring some innovations among the farmer side also.
Thank you very much, Marika, especially for highlighting the, let's say, cooperation between the cooperating institutions, between the collective actions, and of course the role of your association in the education and in advocacy of family farming is very much welcomed. I would like to move to Tolos, because Kyrgyzstan is another country with a former former member of the Soviet Union, but it has quite an active civil society sector, especially when we compare to the other countries in the Central Asia. And thanks to this strong civil society sector, we have a National Civil Society Committee of Family Farming in Kyrgyzstan, with the support of the World Rural Forum, and the Committee of Family Farming successfully lobbied for the adoption of the National Action Plan for Family Farming. We have heard about this yesterday. And since you represent the National Committee, I would like to ask you to share with us a few points on what is the role of the committee, how is it working with the government, and what are the key achievements so far for advancing the family farming agenda. Thanks.
Thank you, Victoria. Well, first of all, thanks to organizers for inviting us to here. It is always good to raise opinions from the Central Asia, especially from Kyrgyzstan. With your permission, I will switch to Russian. Да, роль Национального комитета семейных фермерских хозяйств в Кыргызстане очень важна, так как, ну, во-первых, наверное, сразу начну с фактов. Как мы видели вчера в презентации от представителя Минсельхоза Кыргызстана, 98% всей валовой продукции сельского хозяйства лежат на плечах обычных семейных фермерских хозяйств в Кыргызстане. Что является, наверное, рекордом или даже антирекордом в Центральной Азии. И кто такие эти семейные фермерские хозяйства в Кыргызстане? Это фермер, семья, которая владеет менее 3 гектаров земли в Кыргызстане. Для сравнения с другими странами это, мне кажется, мизер, но все равно 98% валовой продукции, как я уже сказал, очень большой процент. И, как я уже сказал, роль семейных фермерских хозяйств в Кыргызстане очень важна. И для этого именно в 2019 году была создана этот комитет Вначале в нашем комитете были 4 организации. Это Национальный союз ассоциаций водопользователей, леса и землепользователей ассоциация, пастбищники и общественный фонд Rural Development Fund. То есть мы представляем фактически каждый сектор сельского хозяйства в Кыргызстане, где нашим исследованием является более 200 тысяч фермеров из каждых уголков Кыргызстана. То есть семейное фермерство является основой сельской экономики и продовольственной безопасности в Кыргызстане. Какие были результаты? Как вы уже сказали, один из самых ключевых результатов – это создание, разработка и в конце принятие национального плана действий в Кыргызстане в 2022 году. И, как вы вчера видели, около 68% всех мероприятий уже было сделано Минсельхозом, а в свою очередь фермерские организации с нашей стороны тоже во всех наших проектах включаем каждый компонент и субкомпонент из национального плана действий, то есть это молодежь и женщины. Я могу, наверное, еще перечислить, как один из важных результатов – это лоббирование, создание и в конце уже написание нового проекта закона о семейном фермерском хозяйстве в Кыргызстане, так как в Кыргызстане раньше не было термина «семейный фермер». У нас было в законе крестьянское фермерское хозяйство, что очень похоже на семейное фермерское хозяйство. И в конце концов мы решили после многочисленных консультаций, которые мы провели в разных регионах Кыргызстана, после многочисленных собранных комментариев, вопросов, предложений от самих фермеров, мы пришли к выводу, что лучше будет создать новый закон о семейном фермерском хозяйстве, где будет уже более четко указаны статус и юридические права этих хозяйств. Также, наверное, я бы хотел сказать то, что комитет по семейному фермерскому хозяйству является как бы мостом от фермера к государству, где каждый фермер может стать частью, наверное, платформы, где люди принимают большие решения. Спасибо.
Спасибо большое. Thanks for sharing this successful experience of how the National Committee of Family Farming managed to be, the link, the bridge between, as you said, between the peasant farmers and the ministry, and how you have managed to lobby successfully the law on family farming. That's very nice of you to share it. Thanks. I would like to move to Matias, because Uruguay has adopted recently in 2024 the National Action Plan for Family Farming. And I'm wondering whether it has any specific measures for supporting family farmers organizations. And more broadly, how does the national government foster a conducive environment for collective action in Uruguay?
Primero, el Plan Nacional de la Agricultura Familiar que se aprobó el año pasado es síntesis de un proceso de 20 años en los cuales, hay una generación propia de la experiencia de Uruguay, pero que tuvo aportes de lo que fue la red especializada de la agricultura familiar del Mercosur y que incorpora el diseño, los pilares del diseño de la agricultura familiar de la FAO. O sea, es un proceso de construcción de un plan de 20 años que lo que logra el plan es darle coherencia, integralidad e integra las diferentes dimensiones que hacen a lo que entendemos debe ser una política pública hacia la producción familiar. Y en todo ese proceso, las organizaciones de la producción familiar fueron parte de la construcción de ese plan. Ese plan ahora, justo en estos días, se traslada en el diseño presupuestal. Es un presupuesto que se elabora para 5 años de gestión. Entonces ahora estamos en la etapa del traslado de un plan que es conceptual con las líneas de opción a cómo se traslada eso al presupuesto quinquenal del gobierno y en este caso el Ministerio de Ganadería, Agricultura y Pesca. Entonces primero, es un plan, 20 años de proceso de síntesis y las organizaciones fueron parte de ese plan. Dentro del plan hay una de las líneas centrales que es el apoyo al desarrollo de las organizaciones y la acción colectiva de las organizaciones de la producción familiar. Y destaco
tres componentes o tres líneas de trabajo dentro de ese pilar, que es fortalecimiento de las organizaciones. En primer lugar, el tema de la participación de las organizaciones en lo que es la construcción de política pública. Ahí las organizaciones de la producción familiar forman parte de las mesas de desarrollo rural, son espacios territoriales en los cuales las organizaciones y el gobierno construyen la política pública de una perspectiva territorial. Las organizaciones, bueno, integran la REAF, el núcleo nacional de la REAF, que ahí también son parte y aportan a la construcción de política pública. Y después hay una serie de normas o lugares de participación en la construcción de la política pública, como es la comisión honoraria para llevar adelante el Plan Nacional de la Agroecología. Entonces ahí también las organizaciones de la producción familiar forman parte de esa comisión que construye la política pública, en este caso en agroecología. Un segundo nivel de participación, y que en Uruguay ya tiene un trayecto largo en el tiempo, las organizaciones de la producción familiar integran parte importante de la institucionalidad agropecuaria en lo que son los directorios, por ejemplo, Instituto Nacional de la Leche, Instituto Nacional de Investigación, Instituto Nacional de la Granja, Instituto Nacional de la Vitivinicultura. En esos órganos de dirección hay representantes de organizaciones de la producción familiar. Entonces, un segundo nivel de participación es en la gestión de la política pública. Segundo elemento de este componente de fortalecimiento de las organizaciones es la promoción de la organización para el acceso a mercados, y ahí son organizaciones más de tipo cooperativa, grupos de productores con una mirada y un objetivo de acceso al mercado. Otra línea de formación de grupos o apoyo a la formación de grupos es para el acceso a la tierra, en el marco de la política pública que ayer mencioné, de acceso a la tierra a través del Instituto de Colonización de las organizaciones de la producción familiar. Una tercera línea de fortalecimiento de grupo es esto que hablaba ayer del sistema de extensión rural y asesoramiento técnico. Tiene tres componentes: el asesoramiento a nivel predial, a nivel grupal y a nivel de la organización. Ese plan se construye como en esos tres niveles de intervención de la política de extensión rural, y ahí también hay una línea de fortalecimiento justamente de la grupalidad, tanto organización, grupo y después, bueno, el asesoramiento técnico a nivel predial. Y después hay una cuarta línea del fortalecimiento de los grupos, de este segundo eje de grupos, que son las organizaciones como elementos clave para el desarrollo territorial, y ahí entra el planteo de la organización o la organización territorial en lo que es derechos a salud, educación, vivienda, transporte, toda esa agenda de derechos que las organizaciones a nivel territorial son las defensoras, las promotoras, las que pelean por el acceso a esos derechos de la población rural. Y el tercer eje que tiene el plan de la agricultura en el componente fortalecimiento de la organización, indudablemente es una serie de programas y proyectos, algunos productivos, otros sociales, otros culturales, que fortalecen la acción grupal. El segundo es la formación y capacitación, que también siempre tiene una perspectiva de grupalidad o colectivo, y hay un tercer elemento que son actividades, sobre todo identitarias, el Día Internacional de la Mujer Rural, el Día... Bueno, hay una serie de elementos ahí que entran en esa tercera línea dentro del fortalecimiento de la organización. En desafíos, que es el cierre, yo lo ubico como desafíos políticos y culturales que tienen las organizaciones en el marco del Plan Nacional o la construcción de política pública hacia la producción familiar. El primero es la dificultad de los cuidados que hay que tener en la cooptación de cuadros y de conceptos que vienen de la organización de la producción familiar. En nuestro gobierno se han integrado cuadros que vienen de las organizaciones de la producción familiar, son parte del gobierno, parte de la construcción de la política pública, y ahí indudablemente hay que tener los cuidados de que integrarse a una política de Estado o al gobierno no debilite las organizaciones o no se generen esos procesos de cooptación que son un riesgo importante cuando el Estado vacía la organización. Pero a su vez nosotros entendemos que es bien importante que dentro del equipo de gobierno haya gente que tenga toda la experiencia, la trayectoria de las organizaciones. Pero ahí es un primer desafío, cuidado, es la cooptación de cuadros y conceptos que vienen de la producción familiar, que a veces el Estado se apropia de esos conceptos y puede vaciarlos del contenido original cuando surgen de la organización. Segundo desafío, indudablemente, y es cultural sobre todo, es romper ese concepto es de las organizaciones tomar parte de la política pública y no ser parte. Creo que hay un desafío importante lograr desde la participación, el encuentro, y que las organizaciones sean parte de la construcción de política pública y no tomen parte de la política. Ese es un segundo concepto o desafío para trabajar con las organizaciones en la producción familiar. Tercer concepto, y nosotros lo estamos trabajando mucho, es que la intervención del Estado, a través de esto, espacios de participación, proyectos, programas, actividades, tenga como horizonte un concepto de cooperación para la autonomía y no cooperación para la dependencia. Un poco la política del Estado y esa trayectoria lo que va generando es un sentido de dependencia de las organizaciones de la política pública. Nosotros aspiramos a que nuestra intervención del Estado, la política pública hacia la producción familiar, lo que genere es un horizonte de autonomía de las organizaciones del Estado y de la política pública. Entonces, un tercer desafío que ubicamos ahí es esa cuestión de la cooperación para la autonomía. Y un cuarto desafío es el lugar del Estado. Y nosotros somos críticos a veces, sobre todo con la organización de la producción familiar, que a veces en esa construcción de un relato de la hegemonía, la homogeneidad del campo, se ubica en una posición de sectores más conservadores, más liberales, son críticos al Estado, pero no reconocen que para que haya producción familiar, para que sea sostenible, para que sea soberana, en todo lo que hemos hablado de la importancia de la producción familiar, el Estado central y la política pública más. Entonces creo que hay una necesidad, un diálogo político, cultural con las organizaciones, más allá de la crítica, el aporte, la perspectiva que tiene que tener una organización hacia el Estado, el gobierno y la política pública, ir transformando también que sean los principales, las organizaciones de la producción familiar, los principales militantes de que haya un Estado fuerte, un gobierno que construya y dirija política pública. Eso no está pasando en Latinoamérica con gobiernos liberales, con un discurso en el cual un Estado mínimo, y a veces las organizaciones de la producción familiar no salen a defender a ese Estado, a esa construcción de política pública. Entonces creo que es un desafío político de las organizaciones y también del gobierno de ir construyendo ese relato que es más hacia el Estado y la política pública, más allá de la crítica, el aporte, también es reivindicar, cuidar y valorar la centralidad que tiene para una sociedad más justa, equitativa, democrática, la importancia del Estado. Gracias.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think it's very interesting discussion, no? How to regulate, not to under-regulate, not to over-regulate, to give enough space, but give them also the understanding that they are autonomous, that this space does not depend on the political elite, like this is the institutional space for them and they should be free and they should feel safe to get involved and contribute into the policy making. This is very important. Thank you for bringing this. Cristina, based on your experience in Conf Agricoltura, what are the elements in the Italian legal or policy frameworks that have been most crucial in enabling the development of such extensive support network? And to what extent do you think this success also depends on the sociocultural characteristics of the farmer community?
First of all, I just wanted to say something linked to the Italian and EU regulation. In EU, we don't have a definition of family farmers. So I think farming. So I think it's important also to say this because even though the 90% of the farms are family farmers, and in Europe we talk a lot about family farming, we don't have a real definition. So I think this is important to say it in this context, also because, for example, in Confagricoltura, we have an association that is called FIAF that represents family farming. So family farming can be classified into, I can say, into volets. So one is people that work on the farm are members of the family, and on another way, a farm that is owned by a family. So this is the big difference we have in Europe. At the same time, and sorry, I don't know whether I don't want to bother you, but in Europe we have only a definition of farms according to the their dimension. So you are a micro enterprise if you are below 2 million euros and you have less than 10 workers. Then you are a small when you are up to 5 millions. Then you are a medium when you are up to 50 millions and 250 employees. And over you are big enterprises. And this definition is applied to all sectors. So we don't have a clear definition in the agricultural sector, and we are trying at the same time in Italy, we are trying to define micro and small farms in the rural development plans. So, I think it's important because in Europe, everyone, and especially the past commissioner, Mr. Wojciechowski, were talking a lot about family farming, and there were no politics that were supporting this family farming. So you could have a bigger support if you were a small or a micro farms, but nothing about family farming. So this is, I think, and Confagricoltura is the only organization in Italy that has its own association that defends especially the family farming. Having said that, our role is very linked to as my colleague was saying, we are in Italy, we say either the farmers are on the table or on the menu. So we prefer to stay on the table, and that's why we try to defend our interests. But there are some special moments when farmers' associations are called and heard officially by the government. Because, for example, in Italy, we have audition, so the Senate and the Camera dei Deputati ask us to express ourselves on a subject, and this is officially. And whereas, for example, in Europe, you don't have this. In Brussels, we as Copa Cogeca, we cannot go and be heard officially by the parliament, but we have to, we can approach the European MEPs, and they have to trace our meetings, so they are obliged to. And in Italy, on the other way, there are other meaning of being heard. For example, when defining the rural development plans, there are a special committee, comitati di monitoraggio, so monitoring committee, where farmers are called to express themselves on all the politics linked to the rural development plans. So in Italy, we have something like every region has a rural development plan, and we as farmers are called to give our opinion on the definition and the changing on the rural development plans. Of course, we are not the only one. NGOs are called as well, consumers organization. And this is something that really we don't, I can't say we don't like, but we think that we should be the first to be heard when talking about agriculture, because we should be the special, how can I say, a special interlocutor for the national institution and European institution when we talk about agriculture, because we live for agriculture. And I don't know whether you see the evolution we had in Europe with the Green Deal and so on. And now the Parliament is coming back, and the Council as well, revising some laws linked to the Green Deal. And we are very happy because we said you should listen to us, because the farmers for us are the first that are the care of the natural means of production, so lands, soil and waters and air. So this is coming back to your questions. We think that it is we should be the first interlocutor because we live on the field. We know which are the problems, and in a situation of good sense, we can give our advices, trying to keep environmental questions and the environment and our survival, because we need to comply these two aspects. So officially in Italy, the moments where we can be heard are not many, but every day we work with the national ministry, we work with the national parliament, and you don't have to forget how powerful is the farmer community. If you think, for example, at the national situation in some member states, when they want to get power, the first that they address are farmers. Last year, when we had these riots in Brussels, everyone was really worried, because when you lose farmers, you lose a big part of vote. So farm communities in this moment is really important for politicians. And we are very happy because in Italy, for example, our government defends us very much at European level, and national level I know less, but it is the budget that has been put on the farming activity with this new decree Salva Coltiva Italia is huge. Then we will see whether they will put really the money on the field. But at the same time, I think that we are driving and trying to shape in policy in a way that we can guarantee the survival of the farmers that we represent. I don't know whether I answered your questions in a good way.
You answered, and we're running out of time. Otherwise, I would have asked a follow-up question, but maybe during the coffee break. Let me have this last question, and I would like to address both Tolos and Marika. How do you see how we can further promote collective action among family farmers in the region and in your countries in particular? How to, make collective action work for the benefit of family farmers?
Thank you for this question. I think that first step to create is that supportive policies, because without actively involving of this youth in the farming, it's very difficult to develop the sector. So to involve the youth in the farming, we need the basic things, which starting point should be the policies. When all this set up, then we can start the collective actions, such as motivation farmers and recognition of them, and to show that what they are doing is valuable for the sector and for the others also. And I know that FAO this year are doing the very good things to recognition of the family farmers and young farmers in Europe and Asia, and this can be the one of the starting point in the global level. Second point is that in the rural areas we still need to have the basic infrastructure. Because when we are saying that to move from city to the villages or to continue the works what we have from our families or so on, it's really needed to have the basic infrastructure developed in the local levels. If there is no roads, no electricity, no internet connection, it's very difficult to ask the young people to stay there and to work there. Because we really need to have some other thing to to build some kind of business mind farming activities there. On the other hand, to come up all this, we need the access to the finance. And for youth farmers, it's very difficult to, at the beginning stage, especially to have access to the finance. Because when you are going to the bank to get some loans, they are saying that you are too risky because you are too young. In the same time, if you are the woman, young farmer, you are more risky even. So in this stage, it's very difficult to have only motivation without financial support to start the work. So if you are investing in a the bit different side. For example, if you are putting some investment in like a modern technologies or some digital tools, it's even more risky. For example, when I started to use some tools in my farm, for example, to use some climate smart agriculture things. Even for my father also was to persuade that why it was to spend money. It's difficult for younger farmers to do all these things. But when all these conditions are met, then for the young farmers are very easy to share their opinion to others also, and to collaborate each other also. And this can be one of the showcases to the rural areas that young generations engagement is worse, and this can be one of the collective actions. But we cannot look only one side to produce, to make some product. We need also to promote and promote our products. So the collaboration in the marketing level is very crucial, especially in the family farming stage, because they are too small, especially in our region, and they are too small to spend some money in the marketing. So such kind of collective actions can be useful for the future, I think.
Thank you. Tolos, would you like to come in on how to harness the potential of collective action among young family farmers?
Да, спасибо, Виктория, за вопрос. Коллективные действия. Ну, в Кыргызстане немножко сложновато призвать не старых, а более взрослое поколение фермеров к коллективным действиям, так как мы одна из стран, постсоветских стран, и у них всегда это топик очень такой болезненный. И поэтому мы как бы направили свои действия на молодежь, так как у нас молодежь более гибкая, и они готовы к коллективизации. Я бы, наверное, тоже как бы более, чтобы мой ответ был более короткий, дал бы два направления. Это первое, это образование. То есть в Кыргызстане молодежь не очень заинтересована быть фермерами. И мы, что мы делаем? Мы поднимаем имидж самого фермера. То есть мы должны показать нашим фермерам, молодым фермерам, то, что там есть реальные деньги. И это очень весело, это очень интересно. Один из примеров. В этом году летом мы провели в Кыргызстане первые агроолимпийские игры, где были участники со всего региона Кыргызстана. Также мы позвали фермеров, молодых фермеров из Казахстана, из Узбекистана. И это были трехдневные агроолимпийские игры со всеми атрибутами, то есть как Олимпиада, игры, плюс после обеда были агросессии. Мы учили их, как писать бизнес-планы, то есть свои идеи уже воплотить в реаль, написать на бумаге, плюс учили их маркетингу, как выйти на экспорт, стандартизация, сертификация, органика, что это. И мы считаем то, что это было очень хорошо, так как сразу после этих агроолимпийских игр мы создали из молодых фермеров 2 кооператива, что очень даже хороший результат для Кыргызстана. И, наверное, второе направление – это экономические стимулы. Как я уже сказал, молодой фермер должен видеть то, что это выгодно. Таких направлений очень много. Особенно помощь от Минсельхоза. Я бы, наверное, сейчас сказал помощь от нашего комитета. Один из видов помощи – это мы создали микрокредитное агентство, где мы целенаправленно сделали приоритет молодых фермеров до 35 лет. Мы хотим этот план поднять до 40 лет в будущем. То есть у нас будущий потенциальный бенефициар, то есть молодой фермер может получить займ до 1,5 года. Первые полгода мы их не трогаем, это как бы каникулы, льготный период. И каждый фермер, каждый молодой фермер, с ним мы заключаем индивидуальный договор согласно его специфике. Может быть, это рыбник, может быть, это лесник, может быть, это водопользователь. Как ему будет выгодно платить свой займ, это может быть ежеквартально, ежемесячно. То есть, что я хочу сказать, то, что мы очень гибкие, так как наш молодежь тоже очень гибкие. И один пример, у нас один фермер, молодой фермер, берет займ не для того, чтобы закупить сырье, а для того, чтобы включить свое уже существующее производство искусственный интеллект. То есть он не хочет платить деньги за агронома, а хочет нанять искусственный интеллект как агроном. И таких направлений очень много. К сожалению, очень мало времени, наверное, во время кофе-брейка. Я, наверное, больше расскажу. Спасибо.
We have to break for the Q&A if... Yeah, so thank you very much. We are really running out of time because of the interpreters, but yeah, I think we can have a few questions if there are. Yes, I see Alexandra.
Thank you very much. I have two questions. One question is for Toulouse. You mentioned that you previously had a definition of agricultural holding or peasant farming holding. Закона крестьянских фермерских хозяйств, по-моему. And you decided to adopt family farmer definition. And what did it change in? Did it bring any change in reality in terms of policy making? Is it just a recognition of family farming as such, or if we ask to, for example, Ms. Christina also mentioned that, for example, European Union doesn't also have a definition of family farmer. They only have definition of a farmer, not family farmer. If we ask, it's a hard question maybe, but if we ask you to advocate for the definition of a family farmer, please elaborate on that. And I would also ask Ms. Christina Tinelli about, you mentioned the UTP directive, Unfair Trade Practice Directive in the European Union, and that your organization provides assistance to farmers. To farmers, could you please elaborate and provide more details about what is the support that you provide to farmers? It's the legal advice or technical advice. And do you have authority, for example, to intervene if unfair trading practices are taking place? Thank
you. Yes, thank you for your questions. In Russian, yeah, I will tell in Russian. So, у нас был закон о крестьянском фермерном хозяйстве, и он недостаточно до конца открывал, какие именно права и возможности есть у крестьянского фермерного хозяйства, так как у нас есть подсобные хозяйства, есть христианское фермерское хозяйство, это может быть огромная организация, так же, как и одна семья. И в новом законе это будет как бы то есть разделять, кто такой христианское фермерское хозяйство. Это может быть большая организация с деньгами очень большими. И есть теперь уже семейные фермерские хозяйства, которые работают только со своей семьей, плюс, может быть, у него там сезонные работники. Плюс этот семейное фермерское хозяйство теперь имеет статус на государственном уровне. Надеемся, что этот законопроект пройдет. Он сейчас на последней стадии. И когда этот законопроект пройдет, каждое семейное фермерское хозяйство будет иметь свою, грубо говоря, наверное, статус, да, поддержку, конечно же, от Минсельхоза. Раньше, чтобы маленькие, мелкие семейные фермерские хозяйства, которые считались крестьянским хозяйством, чтобы получить поддержку от Минсельхоза, он должен был образовать юрлицо, что, соответственно, будет платить налоги как крестьянских фермерных хозяйств под большой процент. А фермерское хозяйство будет теперь в будущем платить меньший налог, так как у него оборот будет меньше.
In general, we provide, of course, economic and legal assistance to our farmers, and in the framework of UTPs, there are many ways where that farmers can use to denounce, if I can say, unfair trade practices, and one of these ways is also a how can I say this? A denunciation, how would I say in English, without an anonymous denunciation. So you can, we have a special body in Italy that is a body that belongs to the European Minister of Agriculture, is attached to the European Minister of Agriculture. And of course, we provide a system to the farmers and a legal assistance, of course, when they want to pursue or to denounce an unfair trading practices. In Italy, I think that has been something not more than 5 denunciations by now. Yes, it's because in Italy we have kind of differentiation between regions and also between sectors in writing contracts, in contracting bargain of the farmers. So it's not very used, these untrade fair practices. And on another note, President von der Leyen announced that the Commission will revise these unfair trade practices. And I guess that these unfair trade practices, along with the new regulation on written contracts, will be extremely important to protect farmers, even though it's not always easy, because there are some sectors that want to keep things in not written. There are member states where they already have strong laws and they don't want to change. So the demand for farmers asking for more protection in the contracts all along the food chain can vary from member state to member states. I can say in Italy we have a very good law in this sense. In France they have a good law, they have the EGalim law, and in some other member states they don't have. So I think that these unfair trade practices, by the way, is a directive, so it's not a regulation. So it means that can be applied differently at national level. Whereas the CMO is more a regulation, so it will be compulsory in all its elements directly. And yes, but anyway, and also in Confagricoltura, we try to help farmers to write contracts, to take contracts all along the food chain. For example, we have created this new association that is a merge between Confagricoltura and Union Food, and Uni-Eat, the name is, and we privately we try to build a food chain contracts, if I can say. So we provide industry with our products, special quality products within the terms we decide together, and we gain a better prices in these filiera contracts.
Thank you. Do we have more questions? I think we can take just one because we have 4 minutes with an interpretation. No? Okay, then I thank everyone for the active contributions from the panelists, and thank you to the audience for being with us. We come back after lunch at 2:30. 2:30. Thank you.